Yes. Don't sound so surprised. I was
Hey, Rhonda.
Howdy. I have another address for the Heights Dry thing. I may just take it over there.
Okay.
On Nicholson.
Oh, great.
She's in the dry area and everything. She's already voted, but she let me have the sign.
Signs are great.
Yeah. We talked about it. She saw the squawk on next door, is where she's been getting her recognition.
There's a lot of support.
There's a lot of squawk. Yeah, there's a lot of squawk.
It's good. It's good.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we have plenty of signs. Take as many as you like. Take as many as you like.
Exit right around Nicholson. So
It's great.
15 minutes break.
I didn't know that for you the other day. So
You didn't stay there about this.
It takes
an audit. Yeah, well,
to look at that and make a decision.
I was listening to the Art of Charm this morning with their Kevin Kelly. Have you heard that one? Kevin Kelly is the editor of Wired. He's just spoken with others about several years ago. They were talking about AI, and even talking about how you could go into a house. They vision like going into an open house or a house that's on the market, and in the room and saying, "Okay, I want to put this pottery barn so I don't think that's there yet. There's a vision that you could use it for." I know.
No, I'm behind on the Art of Charm, and so I just stop for a while whenever I get behind on that one. The one that I saw they uploaded this morning, I knew it was something I wanted to see, but Dan Ariely, I like that guy a lot.
Do you?
He's a behavioral economist. Yeah, he's on Marketplace all the time, and so I figured that would be a good one to get back in.
Yeah, I have him in there, but I wanted Kevin Kelly because I heard him speak at the Experience several years ago.
This is Nancy Sarnoff and Aaron Mulvaney's podcast.
Okay.
And yeah, I just started listening to it. It's fairly new. It's only been, this is on the 14th episode, but today's episode will be on Keep the Hype Show.
Oh, cool.
we're gonna discuss it kind of getting started. What forms your sphere of influence is in, other agents and say, hey, I love this agent, or vice versa.
I would not do a gloss.
What is this?
Cite your thing we're going to be talking about after Richard's stuff.
I have this one up.
Maybe all four of these.
Okay, that's easy. You saw one drum, sir?
Lifting video.
Thank you. I am an Olympic lifter.
I watched it over.
Oh, that's right.
Good morning. Someone
Hey,
is dropping change on the road.
I saw that actually. Change.
I love, well, I mean, this is a lot. I love that French flag. Yes, I love the French flag. That's good. The cool, but I mean, nobody else can do that. No, it's a French flag out of France. And I had it's hard to maintain. You really have to realize nobody else can do that.
Yep, we're going.
I was close.
So close.
Okay, ready?
Yep.
Okay, we're gonna go ahead and get started. Thank you all for coming. Hopefully some of you are watching live stream. We're gonna go ahead and just get started. We have a guest from HAR here today, Richard. That's close enough with that. Who's going to talk to us about Supra, the new Supras, and how they work, and be able to answer our questions about that. So we'll just let you take over.
Good morning, everyone. All right, so you all know we're coming out with the new lockbox.
Yes.
Well, I heard that your company provides them the lockbox.
Yes.
Yes, so that's a plus. Most companies do not provide their agents lockboxes.
We love
the
our
new-
broker. We love our broker.
Yes, so you have a very good broker. Well, the first thing is these boxes are Bluetooth, which means if you have the device on your phone right now, you no longer need that little black fob. That's gonna be going away. However, we're not recommending that you get rid of those until the first of the year. Because of course, everyone in Houston is going to have to switch these out. And we're giving them until the end of December to do so. So you may still be showing properties through this year with the old lock boxes on there, which is fine. But after January 1, they will be fined $250 per lock box. It's the old lock boxes. So they're not supposed to be on listings after January 1. There's a slight difference. As you can see, it's a lot bigger. The second difference is you have to actually activate it. So you have to turn it on before you use it. And to turn it on, you just push the bottom up, and then you'll start seeing it blink. If you have the app on your phone, or if you have the active key, whichever one, you still have to activate it. But if you have it on your phone, this is where it becomes much easier. You just put in your code, hit begin, and I don't have to point it at anything. I can just be on my phone, and it's done. Success. There you go.
It's a miracle.
So you don't have to point anything anymore. All you need to do is make sure your phone is next to you. Once you enter your code and you begin, you can throw it back in your purse, put it in your pocket, get back on your phone call, whatever you want to do, and it'll open the box for you.
And how often do you have to leave it on? I mean, is it perpetual? Once you turn it on, it's on, or every day you have to return it on?
You have to turn it on each time you show.
Each time you show. But for
So,
the last 4 or 5 hours?
no, it's immediate, it turns off. The Bluetooth will turn itself off.
But the code or whatever, you have to enter in the code every time you go to a house?
Yes.
So if you're on the phone while you're showing 4 houses, you're still gonna have to get
You're
off
still
the
gonna have to
house.
say, hold on, and put your button, put them on speaker. You can still open your app, put them on speaker, put in the code, I've actually done it on phone, and the other party does not hear beep, 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 they don't hear anything. So it's just the same. Now, the top part is a little bit different, the shackle. I know a lot of you are already used to just trying to pull it up anyways, when you're not supposed to with the old ones. But for the shackle code, there's a little difference. So you're gonna type in the shackle code, start it.
Suspense.
Select the reason, of course, select the reason. And when it's done, it's gonna say success. Now, the ones we have now pop up automatically.
Yes.
These, you have to actually push down and pull up. But that's gonna take it off and the whole top comes off versus just that one side. You put it on the doorknob and it's locked. That's it. And that's the new one.
A little bigger at the bottom, right?
Yeah, it's a lot bigger at the bottom, so.
Weighs a little more.
It weighs a little bit more. It's not too much heavier because they made the framing a little thinner than the old ones.
Batteries should last longer.
Batteries will last, they're all brand new, so we're giving them about a 15-year span, so lifespan. The batteries are not rechargeable. They are lifetime warranty, so if you do buy your own boxes, if you want to, if you ever have anything happen to them, you don't have to cut them off. You just come in and we swap them out 1 for 1. So they're lifetime warranty, and for you too, they're lifetime warranty.
Will it show us 14 years from now when the battery gets low, to go to yellow? or-
When you open the shackle code, if you use the battery life,
May not be 14 years.
Yes, they lie about it.
Let me retract that. Like, Richard said 14 years, and it only lasted me 4 years.
The last 14,
Depending how often you use them.
the last 14 years, if you're only showing it once a month.
There you go.
Reach up.
So again, the bottom part is, it's a lot. Sometimes agents, hey.
Okay, so
And here's the box.
you went into your key thing on your phone.
Yes. And then just put in your code. I'll take key.
Okay, key.
So how do we get the app on there from? What's the-
Do you have the active key now?
Yeah, I just have an old Supra.
Okay, the app's already on your phone.
It is.
Yeah, it's the same app, you just won't need the device.
No, I don't have an app on my phone now. I just use the old.
Oh, you use the old little gray key.
Yeah.
Okay, well then you would have to go into HAR so we can swap it out for you, because there's an actual serial number we have to assign.
Oh,
So if you have the active key and you want to switch to the service on your cell phone, you have to come see us at HAR, and we have to give you another.
Change your Supra for the code.
Right,
but
And you can do that at any
the
time.
old Supras won't work on it.
they will work.
They
You
will.
just
Yeah,
put in
that's
your
good.
same 1172 or whatever your code is, and it
Yes.
will work. You'll do it the same way.
Yeah, this is, the new lockbox, we're trying to get everyone to switch to the cell phone, because for one, you don't forget your cell phone usually. We always get calls, I've left my fob, I left my active key, I can't get in the property, what do I do? And unfortunately, we can't do anything for you. You just have to go back. So there is a difference in fees as well. If you have it on your cell phone, right now you're paying about $13.50 a month. That fee is going to drop up to $10 and something a month, like $10.35, I believe. If you have the active key, the gray key with the white, blue and white, gray, whatever color it is, that one is $175 a year. That is going up January 1 to $225 annually. So
We're gonna entice you to use that.
right, we're trying to entice the app because it's just a better feature. You don't have to even point like you've seen. I just had it next to me and it worked. So it's a lot easier, it's a lot more user friendly, and hopefully it works for you
It's
guys.
funny, right?
How far away can you be?
I could probably be walking to the door from here and it'll open because of Bluetooth
But
communication.
you have to activate it first.
Right, you would have to activate it first. So at least so you're gonna have to be in front.
So do you turn it on like just what I did? Go, okay,
That's it,
it just talks to it.
right. Now you turn it on by pushing the bottom.
Now you have to push.
Right.
It's
You
a
have
wake
to
up call.
turn the Supra on.
Yeah, you have to
Super
turn
on,
key
you have to
function.
have the, okay.
I'm bonding.
So again, yes, you do have to activate it by pushing up,
Okay.
and then you see the
So
light,
the little red light,
and then you can do it now. You can obtain a key.
red. Okay, let me try this again.
Did you push it up?
It just,
You
Yeah,
push it
just
up.
turn
Yeah,
it
you already pushed it up.
What is it saying?
It says if you use an E-key adapter connected to, or turn on, if you're connecting directly to the iBox, blah, blah.
Is
Yeah, right.
is your Bluetooth on?
Oh yeah, is your Bluetooth on?
Yeah, I think. Morning. Okay, you
Yeah,
swipe from the bottom, look at this.
We'll check your.
Okay, we can
Yeah, we'll troubleshoot it. But yeah, that's how it works. Any questions?
Your phone has to have Bluetooth on.
Correct.
Okay.
Now, if you're connected to your Bluetooth in your car, sometimes you have to disconnect that in order for it to reconnect to this Bluetooth.
Yeah, it was definitely on,
Okay.
so you're lying.
No.
No, but it was also just on in your car, to his point. Right?
If you have it connected to your vehicle, sometimes you have to disconnect it to connect to this.
I need.
Oh.
That's gonna make me
I mean, that's
really
crazy.
unhappy, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
It's not connected to my.
Mine does
Okay.
both, does both.
Okay, yeah.
So could you get it open? I'm sorry.
Try to open it again.
It automatically disconnects to your car when you turn it.
Yeah, it should.
Right. There you go.
My Bluetooth is on.
Did you update to the iOS?
Yeah, it just, it.
Okay.
was
What does it say right now?
Connecting to Keybox.
There you go.
Okay.
Tell me when it says success.
Okay, connecting.
It's the same app as the current one.
No.
It's a super app, you have to download it.
Now, if you update to the iOS 10, you have to delete the current app and reload
I
it.
have the look.
You gotta go trade it in. They're gonna give you a serial number for the Supra app. Once you go turn it in, it's a Super Key. Watch the video, Jim.
Very simple.
Yeah.
Do you have my tripod? Did I give you the
Now,
mic
if you
too?
want to purchase the box,
I give you the
we sell them
microphone?
now in our super center, and that way they can package it. We actually-
Marianne, when are we doing our exchange?
I need all of these Supra boxes here Monday, November 14th, and we are exchanging on. So then what
So
do
we might go get one, I'll go buy one, and we
So
can.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm playing here. That's a great idea.
We've already got
Wait,
those.
Let's let Marianne talk.
But yes, what you do between those 3 days, you have several options. You can either have temporarily no showings and talk to your seller about what they'd like to do. You can either purchase your own combo lockbox and leave the key in there, or you can leave your key here in the safe, and when someone needs to make an appointment, they can come do it like how we did it a million years ago. They come pick up the key, go do the showing, and bring the key back. So those are your options. You will need to let us know what we need to put on the updated showing instructions. And then, I mean, all boxes should be back on the listings by Thursday, so.
If we have your own, I have to read my own.
Here's.
Well, I have a separate, can I just go to HAR now?
You cannot.
You can make an appointment.
Make an
Yes,
appointment.
You can make an appointment, that's correct.
Yes, you can make an appointment during that week
14 through the 18th.
through the 18th. They're not exchanging Supras at HAR. It's either at
George R. Brown.
George R. Brown. They have a list of locations. Certain locations are for certain dates. So if you don't want to go to the Woodlands, you need to do it Wednesday or Thursday. And you have to make an appointment for your own personal boxes. Yeah.
So we need to practice with our app. I think the box itself works pretty
Yeah, the
well.
box works itself.
Our problem is gonna be the app and the application of the app. So we'll buy Supra. Hopefully you can download the app and someone here will be able to train you on that, Rhonda or Marianne or Aaron, Brian, Brandon or somebody. Okay, any other questions? He's right here.
Just not sure, how much are they?
The boxes?
They're 125. The new ones are gonna be 125.
Good.
If we have the old app like we have been using, we just continue to use that?
You continue to use it
Okay, so we just push the bottom up before.
to activate the new Supra
Before you.
before you
Okay.
enter your information.
Do you answer other hard questions? Or
Yes.
strictly
Yes, I do. I'm also an instructor with HR, so I actually go to.
And then-
What about the replacement, the Fusion Tempo replacement?
Matrix.
When's that?
It's gonna come out the end of this year. You should all get an email if you want to beta test it. I would recommend you do so at the end of December. And that way, you'll get more familiarized. We're not gonna start training classes until January for Matrix. But Fusion and Tempo will run simultaneously at least for, I would say, half the year.
Another 14 years.
Right.
For those that are hard.
But yeah, they will run simultaneously for a while. They will.
We'll probably go to HAR and have our own little training session there. I'll set something up for the guys.
Or we can come here.
Yeah.
If you want us to, we will come set up like this and teach you here.
I did sign up for beta, so when do I get
You should, it's immediate once you sign up. They should give it to you like within an hour.
it? Because I talked to the top guy, what's his name?
Yeah, who?
Sean.
Oh, Sean Levine?
And he sent me an email and said he would send it.
Okay, yeah. Call me after your meeting and I'll make sure that you have access.
Is the appointment manager gonna change also?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, because I think, I don't know if Bill said this specifically, but you might have mentioned something that, like when you set an appointment for 1 o'clock and the guy, sometimes an agent will stay for 45 minutes, sometimes the agent stays for 15 minutes.
There is a mechanism where you can set it up where it notifies you when the
When they
show is
leave.
over, if
Yeah.
everyone subscribes to that portion.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
I've seen the demonstration.
Right.
Is that through back agent?
No, it's through Matrix.
It's through Matrix? Okay, I haven't heard of it.
Oh, so that'll be down the road.
Yeah, that's just,
Okay.
yeah, they're still practicing a few of those things. There was in a protocol, a demonstration they gave to them, I said,
Okay.
HAR.
Well, you figure that once it goes online, 30,000 agents are gonna help you find all the bugs.
Yes, they will.
I'm sure you will.
They're good. We're all gonna be providing constructive criticism.
Okay, any other questions about the Supra boxes? Supra Exchange, e-key, app,
Active key.
active key, you covered it, that was great. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Really really appreciate it. Okay, that was good, right?
That was great.
Okay, quick reminder that through HAR, whenever you log on, this is the time that you make application if you individually want to serve on some advisory committee for 2017. If you're interested in the MLS advisory committee or political affairs or governmental affairs or technology or whatever professional standards, there's a little list there, and you have until December 5th to log in and send an email that says, look, I'd like to serve on the technology advisory committee or Big E or communications or whatever it is you like. This is a great way to get a little more involvement through HAR. Doesn't mean you're automatically going to get it. Remember, there's going to be 700 people that apply to be on MLS advisory committee, and they're going to take about 50. If there's something you strenuously are interested in, I will also make a little outreach on your behalf to the leadership at HAR who have to cull through the people and kind of pick. It is their intention to diversify the brokerage firms that are represented. They're not going to have 35 Market Turner people on the MLS advisory committee. They're going to get some people from the Woodlands and some from Pearland and some from Seco Ranch and some from big firms and small firms and independents. And so, I mean, we have a fighting chance of being a medium-sized brokerage firm of getting someone on one of these deals, especially the more I have to learn to play with the people at HAR. So if you're interested, sign up first. Can't add you on December 6th. This happened last time. But I mean, if you'll sign up and then let me know or Aaron know, I'll see what I can do. We won't know who's on them until later in the year, maybe even the first of the year, whatever. I've served on MLS advisory committee. At some point, I think I'm term limited off. So I'll check and see if I'm term limited off. I want someone from Boulevard Realty on that committee. It's probably one of the more informative ones.
The technology one is great. I've served on that in the past. I've served with Big E a couple of different times. That one was really good. I served on the, I can't remember exactly what it was called. It was like there was a PR situation. I've been on that one before. That one's an interesting one because you don't necessarily go to the meetings. They only contact you if they have something going on that they need you. That I had a touch with one of my clients once to help them manage a PR communication.
I serve on governmental affairs also. There's political affairs, which is kind of the politics of it, and there's the government portion, which is through legislation. So the HISD prop thing, they get together, they hash it out before we make a recommendation to the HAR board, which then makes a recommendation to the HAR membership or whatever. So you're kind of learning about some of these things. Usually it's bond issues or it's legislation in Austin, could be legislation in DC, but we tend to focus more locally. So if you're interested in those sort of things, it's kind of been an interesting one also. No questions about that? Okay, we're going to continue on in some of our just information education things. A lot of this is recap, but as we experience some of these things, I want to continue what we did last week on a few issues or whatever. So, and I have a couple that I wanted to do, and then we can pick back up with any questions that you might have. Brad had an instance with a Martha Turner agent or whatever over third-party financing, credit approval, buyer approval, and so I just want to go over it one more time, even though this is like the 100th time in a decade I've gone over it, so we're going to continue to go over it. Third-party financing addendum is designed to require the buyers to go and seek approval for their situation. Okay? It's really totally designed for that. Can the buyer do what it takes to get a loan? The buyer. Do they make enough money? Is their credit good enough? Do they have the down payment? Where did the down payment come from? Is it illegal drug money? Or was it from mommy and daddy? Or is it from the sale of their other home? Or what is it that makes the buyer credit worthy enough that someone is going to give them a loan. The whole purpose of this form is to make sure that they're at some point have some form of buyer approval with a lender. It has nothing to do, you can get a buyer approval before you have any house. The buyer can get approved. They're either approved or they're not approved. Pre-qualified means I can buy a car. I can go today and buy a car. I cannot buy a Mercedes and a Land Rover and an Audi and a Volkswagen and a Porsche and a BMW. I can't go buy 12 cars today. I can only buy one car today. And I can get an approval to go buy a car. They tell me I can buy a $100,000 car and my interest rate's going to be 4%. I'm going to pay it out over 60 months. And before I go shopping for a car, I have my approval because I don't want to shop for a $100,000 car. I can only buy a $50,000 car. But mortgages are much the same way. The form is designed for that deal. So if you're the buyer, you're trying to protect yourself that you're still shopping for loans for the most part. Now, if you already have an approval and you know that you're going to put 20% down and get a 3.5% interest rate, and it's going to be amortized over 30 years with no balloon for 30 years, we know all that information, and the form could be, one, I've done it. I have buyer approval. I don't need 15 days or 21 days. I need 15 days or 21 days only if I am shopping or only if I don't have approval. So when they're submitting an offer, they're telling us they're approved or not. The guy who wants to put 45 days is telling the seller, I'm a risk of credit. I have a credit risk because I'm sure as hell not going to know if I have an approval for 45 days. That's inadvertently what you're telling the other side. So if I'm the seller and someone needs 45 days, I must tell if I'm the listing agent, I must tell the seller, this guy obviously doesn't think he can get a loan and is going to shop his way for 44 days before he can get an approval or not. Or, because most people don't understand it, you would require them to get some approval reasonably. There is hardly any instance, any seller would ever want someone to have a financing period greater than the option period. There is hardly any reason. If we are if it's October 1 and we're filing our tax return for our extension and it has to be given to the IRS and retrieved back from the IRS, and that's why we need 21 days, don't we think the seller needs to know that? Because the seller is at risk of getting under comfort with someone who cannot buy a house. So there might be a reason someone needs an extended period of time, but I sure as hell would want to know why. I'm getting the money from my down payment from China. It must get wired over here and it must be seasoned for 90 days before I can close. Okay, what happens if the money, is the money here or not? Have you begun the process to get the money? I mean, we're using this information to provide information to the selling side on whether or not you want to take the contract. You accept the contract because the money is good, and the option period is reasonable, and the objections are reasonable, and there aren't a lot of crap in special provisions. This is just as important, and we need to utilize it much like that. So most people don't. If you're the buyer side and you're from some firm that doesn't have as great a broker as you do, you want to protect that buyer as long as possible and give them this long period of time. Why would the seller want to take that deal? There's no reason the seller would. And in most instances, I would tell you that the agents do not understand it. They've not explained it well.
They do not.
They do not. Just because they don't doesn't mean that we do. We do understand it. And so you'll have to educate the other portion of the 29,000 people who are licensed realtors at HAR who don't understand it. And sometimes we get to that. For the buyer to get approval. Only the buyer. Buyer shall promptly apply for a loan. Make every effort to get over there. Furnish the stupid information. Give them the paycheck stub. Give them the bank statement. Give them the tax return. Whatever it takes to get approval from the buyer's lender. It's all we're talking about over here is the buyer getting deal. And then same thing, if we're having approval from Chase and we've had it for 30 days and we assumed our interest rate was going to be 3.75 or whatever, and if Iraq bombs New York City tomorrow, interest rates will go up. okay? They ain't gonna honor the 3.5. Interest rates are gonna be 16% if the World Trade Tower comes down again. So this, you're protecting this under some catastrophic deal if you can't get it. So if someone's trying to get a loan for $500,000 for 30 years at 2% interest, it's not gonna work. It ain't gonna work. We know it's not gonna work. So that's how they're going to use this to get them out of the contract. It's a way to extend the option period if you're not careful. So it has to be, if they say that they can get 2%, show me the letter where they can get 2%. I don't think they can get 30-year fixed. They might get interest only at 2% or something, but they're not gonna be able to do that. So you're gauging, does their pre-qualification letter, which means nothing, means they haven't turned in their information and no one's verified it. Let's just be clear. Buyers are liars, okay? They say they make $1 million, but in reality, they're an independent contractor that's a pharmacist or whatever, and they make $36,000 and they draw against future earnings. That's not $1 million wage earner. That's someone who's an independent contractor. So doctors, lawyers, and pharmacists and self-employed people are fairly complicated. You have to give the people the tax return, and they figure out, oh, no, you're a 1099. Realtors who have no, you may make a lot of money, but you have no salary. You are at a higher risk than someone who is on a salary making, $500,000 a year divided by 12 months. So you're using this information to see, and it should match their pre-approval. Understand the difference between approval is they've done this stuff. They've done it and they've got approved. They've got approved. You don't need a lot of these days over here. Keep going down. If they're doing FHA, this is now they're telling you this is FHA, and so there are loan limits for FHA and for VA and all that sort of thing over there. So you're kind of being able to tell the seller, if you're on the listing side, what kind of loan is the buyer getting? What is the risk from the buyer to the seller? Okay? Just talking about that. So, yes.
So there's a max on FHA though, right? So
Yes, there is
if
a
you're trying to
max.
buy $1 million home,
That is correct.
FHA is not gonna approve it.
Putting down $675,000, they'll approve the $325,000 portion, but they're not gonna let you finance $1 million on FHA loan in Houston, Texas.
You recommend no FHA and no VA like we have?
I'm not allowed by law to say that. I'm allowed to tell you that there's a higher scrutiny of the properties and people on an FHA and VA loan that leaves the loan more at risk for the seller.
Thank you.
That's
So
how I
if
would
you're
say.
hearing that you have two offers, and one is conventional, and one is FHA, and they're virtually the same, you're going to go with the conventional on most cases.
On most, if
recommended.
it's a brand new Perry home in Pearland for $200,000, it doesn't make any difference at all. It's gonna be fine. It's older homes in our neighborhoods that are very difficult on the VA loans and the FHA loans.
So you should just explain those risks.
There's a higher risk to the seller. There's a higher level of scrutiny over there. Go back, let me see where we're at here.
Oh, so one of the
No,
last
looking
ones.
Contingency.
You
I'm
were
gonna
there.
go over the whole contingency, fine. All right, go down just a little bit. This is the section. Okay, all right. So all the stuff we talked about was about the buyer. We just talked about you've got an approval within 1 day or 7 days or 10 days. All that's fine if they, if you already have it, you want to make your offer attractive.
Put zero.
Check
Yeah.
0. That says we're approved. You should be held to that. You're gonna get your offer accepted a hell of a lot sooner than the guy who checks this, and his agent's not quite as bright as you are, and they put 30 days to the day of closing. Okay, that would be a way to make your offer way more attractive. You are already approved. That is a significant factor in whether or not a seller should accept your offer or not. Not a pre-qualified, approved. So use this to your advantage because almost all the instances when we're going out, we already have approval. We've predominantly worked with people that have an approval. They can get an approval relatively quickly. Run them through automated underwriting in about 30 minutes. You can have an approval subject to the people providing the right information. Remember, they said they made $68,000, but they have to verify that they really, in fact, made $68,000. And it does take some amount of time to verify that information. It depends. The higher the credit score, the less likely people are to manipulate the numbers or whatever. So, but if you have approval, make your offer more attractive and put less days over there. Only reason you would need more days if you had an approval which your guy's gonna shop around a little bit more. And people do shop around. Yes.
What did you suggest as the amount of days to put?
Typically, you would just put the same number of days as the option period. That gives your guy a little more time to shop his loan if he wants to compare to someone else. Because he may come to me with some pre-approval from Wells Fargo. I'm still gonna do my damnedest as his agent to switch from Wells Fargo to somebody else. I'm gonna make him say, look, I'm your agent. I want you to compare to somebody else who has traditionally been easier to deal with than Wells Fargo or Bank of America. And if they can match it, and their fees are lower, would you consider switching lenders from the one you already have? So I want them generally to have a little bit, if they work with me and we talk about the process, they go get a pre-approval with half or whatever, then I want check in 0 or check in 1 is fine. That makes my offer more attractive if I'm competing with the Greenwood King agent who put 14. Sometimes they need to explain to you, in almost any instance, why they would need more time than the option period.
So
You would need to know why, and it is a fair question on behalf of the seller. Why does the buyer need more time? Are they not approved? Are they not going to get approved? Again, and let them explain to you. They're contemplating 3 different lenders. There's a reason they need more time. Yes.
Well, that happened to me, obviously, and then
Yes.
Ronnie had to highlight it, she circled it for me to send to them.
We do it
But they
14
didn't
times a
understand
week.
it, they didn't understand
They
it.
don't understand it because they don't have good training, but we do. So let's just, buyers approved over here. Buyers approved, we go over there, we make our offer, we're under contract, whatever side you represent. Has nothing to, now we have a property. And the property itself must appraise, it must meet underwriter's condition, it must not have any problem, you know, can't have a hole in the roof or a hole in the floor, it might not, if you can't insure it, if the flood map changes the day before closing, any of those things that impact the property, not the buyer. Buyer loses his job the day before closing. The buyer finds out they're divorcing, whatever. The buyer has something happen to them the day before closing after this deal. Theoretically, the earnest money it's the seller's. It's not the buyer's half anymore. If the buyer's situation changes, I don't have a great way to go and demand that the buyer get back his earnest money. You're under a contract for 45 days, and a 10-day option period, 10-day financing period, and the day before closing, the buyer loses his job. Now the buyer no longer has an approval, right? So then theoretically and technically, the earnest money belongs to the seller. We can try and negotiate our way the best that we can do, but you know, there's all kinds of times it is difficult because people have taken their house off the market for this 45 days. They have made other plans. They're probably out money, whether it's packing or moving or storage room or the option fee and earnest money that they put down on another house. In theory, I mean, technically the seller deserves that money. The buyer loses their job. So there is inherent risk, of course. But I'm still not think it's in the seller's best interest. And if they put 30 days when they have a 30-day close, you need to tell the seller, this person is going to want out and want all their money back, and you were the only one who were at risk in the event you go and do something else. Got nothing better to lose. If we have a house that's on the market for 2 years and it isn't going to sell anyway to anybody else, okay, probably yield, but it wouldn't matter because you have nothing lost. And there's people on there, but normal situation, I would do that.
What about when you're dealing with a lender like, say, BBVA, and they come up with some underwriting thing against your client, the buyer? Like, they find out that your client is renting an apartment for a family member, and they didn't know about that you were paying the rent on this apartment. So then what happens? In this happened
After the 10 days.
Yes, correct, really close to closing. What it did was it changed my buyer's payments, their payments were raised like $1,000 a month. It was a big property and they shrugged it off, but for many other clients, they wouldn't shrug that off, you know?
Yes, the buyer, once they get their approval, we've all heard this, especially the ones we've been in deal, should not go out and buy a car or go buy all the furniture or co-sign on their kid's student loan or anything that might impact their credit from the time they got approval until we go to closing. Don't deposit big checks and don't go do anything.
But this was something they had been doing. They just didn't didn't know that was even.
That's really BBVA's fault for issuing an approval without
Uh-huh.
total due diligence. And there might be an instance, but there's not much we can do about it. Not much we can do about it. Yes,
That
ma'am.
would follow the
So-
buyer approval.
That's buyer approval.
Paige Martin this past week swears up and down that BVA, that B of A and their private bank will not do a buyer approval until everything's ready to go to underwriting. And
I've
that's
heard that
rational.
before, yeah, I've heard that.
And
Then-
so,
If that's the buyer that you're selling, and if that's what they're saying, it's not the way the law rules, but that doesn't mean that BBVA or Bank of America can put in whatever rules they want. So that could be true. I can't make them follow this rule. I can just tell you that the buyer then can terminate. If you're giving them an option period to terminate until you get that. If the seller's willing to take that risk, then great. Otherwise, I wouldn't take that loan. It's a risk factor. Would you give that same person the 30-day option period with unrestricted right to terminate? Because in effect, that's what you're doing.
so then back to the interest rate thing. So if the interest rate does go up
After the approval, it should, when they get an approval, they should be able to lock their rate if they're under contract on a house. So you can have an approval, I can have an approval to go buy my $1 million house today, but they are not going to guarantee me the interest rate lock until I am under contract. That's the only time they're gonna lock the rates. So if they had an approval over here on one house, it didn't work out, and now 30 days later, we're going over here, we have basically the same approval, but we're not guaranteed the same interest rate. So you tell them to lock the rate based on property address.
And I thought that buyer approval section was just so that the lender could have time to.
Verify the information from the buyer.
So
The
that's.
tax return.
That's about 10 days.
Surely provide the tax return. If the guy waits till the 9th day of his 10 days for approval and submits it, yeah, they need more time than that. Make the buyer do their due diligence. If you represent the buyer, you should want the buyer to do this. If you represent the seller, you would want the buyer to do
But
this.
after the 10-day period, you don't get something that goes to both parties from the lender. that says-
Congratulations, you've been approved, you have credit approval. Yes, the lender can tell you if the individual, the buyer, has buyer approval. Do we have buyer approval or not? You either do or you don't. And it only means that the information they provided has been verified. The down payment's been verified, payroll's been verified, tax return's been verified.
You remember when you went over the contract with me at that meeting where you went step by step? When you go over this form with your buyers, can you just kind of tell me how you go over it?
Sure.
Like,
Sure. Well, when I met with them, we talked about getting pre-approved with a lender. You can be pre-qualified. I don't want you to go on lendingtree.com and enter your information and lower your score 3 points from 30 different people. Every point matters from 640 to 680 to 700. So if you're at 682 and you make application for a car and the Land Rover dealership runs your credit 9 places, it could lower your score 27 points, which can impact your interest rate. Your interest rate is determined by the amount of money you put down and your credit score. So your credit score is very important to you when you go and make a purchase like this. So I want you to go to a lender and I want you to enter in the information and get a preliminary pre-qualification and then select a lender and go get pre-approval. After you're approved, I don't want you to make any other purchases. This section, start at the beginning. I'm gonna go and we have a pre-approval that says you can get it right now. We have a pre-approval before we even have a house. We're pre-approval, and we think we can get a mortgage for $500,000 at 3.5% for 30 years with no balloon, so it's gonna be amortized over 30 years. We don't have a house yet. When we get a house, we're gonna be able to lock a rate. I think interest rates are predominantly gonna, I'm just explaining how I would explain it. Interest rates are predominantly gonna be about the same. Interest rates are driven by bad economic news. The better the news, the higher the interest rate. Do you think there's gonna be any bad news during this 30 days? Is there gonna be a jobs report? Is there gonna be a sales tax decline? Is there gonna be a hit in the stock market for one day? We're gonna try and lock your rate on Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. There's a schedule of when all this information comes out on a monthly basis. And I can tell you when the jobs report's gonna be noted, or sales tax are gonna be noted, or employment figures. And if we just think one of those things is gonna be negative, interest rates will drop a moment that day and we'll go and block. So I will help you as your advisor in real estate, when's the best time to go and lock, okay? So, and we'll work with your lender on when's the best time to lock. You wouldn't, if we're trying to fight for a quarter point difference or whatever, but if they've got an interest rate of 3.475 right now, I think that's a damn good interest rate. Lock it. Don't try and risk. I mean, you are risking that they go up at the same time because they don't just go down. But we will lock the rate in the middle of time of usually when we're in the option period so that you would know exactly what you're trading. I'm going to put in here about what I think that you can get. If I'm unrealistic, they're not going to accept our offer. So it has to be something that's realistic. So I would typically put whatever you think you can get raised by about a quarter point. So if you think you can get 3.5, I'm going to go put 3.75. And if during our period over here, interest rates spike to 4, I will use this paragraph to get you out of your contract because now your payment is going to go up significantly because your interest rate went up. That's what this paragraph is doing right here. It's forcing you to go choose a lender and provide all the information so that you can get an approval in a reasonable time frame. I would hope you would do this before we ever made an offer. If you haven't, go do it. Here's how I'm going to protect you in case interest rates spike during that time. I'm going to totally protect you in the event that the house doesn't appraise after we go through all this due diligence of inspections and we spent money on all the appraisal. If the house doesn't appraise, I will be able to utilize this form in order to get your earnest money back. It's how I'm protecting you. I only need this form in the event that your property does not meet some underwriter's approval for some reason. Life maps change. Insurance is hard to come by. Maybe your insurance was, maybe we're buying a house in Galveston and you thought the insurance was $2,000, but really it's $12,000. And now you can't afford the house because of the insurance requirements by the lender. I would be able to utilize this paragraph.
Can you read it? I can't.
If property approval is when obtained when the property has satisfied the lender's underwriter, okay, which is usually 2 steps now. We have multiple underwriters, especially if the loan's over 417, including but not limited to appraisal, insurability, lender-required repairs. If the property approval is not obtained, the buyer may terminate this contract by giving notice to the seller before closing, could be the day of closing, and the earnest money will be refunded to the buyer. It's not may, it's will. It wasn't an option. The seller doesn't have the option to keep the earnest money. It will go to the buyer if the property does not appraise. In the event the buyer wants to utilize this paragraph to terminate their contract and move on. If it doesn't appraise by $200,000, I can't make the buyer buy it. I can't make the seller go down. Okay? But it's clear in the event you can't negotiate a way through that the earnest money will be refunded to the buyer. It's not, as long as you use the form. And so even if you're paying cash and you want it subject to appraisal, we could write that it's subject to an appraisal, but most people feel like the buyer's going to go choose an appraiser that favors just the buyer, which the mortgage company uses an appraiser just to represent the mortgage company, not the buyer anyway. But you could use this language in special provisions, or you could use this form even in your cash transaction and make sure that it's clearly understood that the property must appraise or be insurable. And you could use this sort of language to protect someone in a cash transaction as well.
So it's like the Galveston story.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and you think it's going to be 2,000 and it comes back and it's 12,000.
Right.
And then you get that notice from your insurer and say, we're terminating because we can't afford it.
That's correct.
So I have a question about the Julian property specifically. So we've had some issues about insurance, which I think we're gonna be okay with it. We've moved out of auction period, but now the insurance company is saying that the insulation has to be pushed down.
Did you provide them this? How did they figure that out?
We gave them the.
Never do that.
Don't do that.
Never do that if you want to get a loan.
Right.
Never do it if you want to get a loan.
You're talking about the inspection.
Don't give them a
I want to go on a date with you and say, you have terminal cancer and you're going to die in 30 days. I'm probably going to have my heart broken, right? I don't want to go down that path. Okay. Lenders want to lend money on perfect houses. They don't want to lend money. So if you send an amendment that says, buyer to get $5,000 in lieu of repairs, ding, 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 ding to the lender. There's a problem with this house. There's a hole in the roof. I'm going to lend money on the house, and then it's going to rain, and then it's going to come through, and it's going to destroy the first floor, the second floor, and I'm going to foreclose my house, and it's not going to be worth shit.
Well, they
No, no,
share it
no.
with the lender, but they share it to the insurance
Shouldn't-
company.
And you're not required to give it to them. They should rely on their
And
own
the insurance
inspection.
company is pressing your buyer.
Because now what you're gonna do is
Shop
the
that
same
insurance.
thing.
Yeah,
You're-
match them, like all of them, but.
You're gonna get the chance to go fix someone else's house in order to get that insurance. When you
Well,
give them
that's what I was
that,
gonna ask you, could we require them after the option period to lower the insulation in the attic?
you can ask them if they've already given you the money in lieu of, they gave you what, $50,000 in lieu of repairs? They're gonna say, all right, I'll give you $44,000 and I'll take $6,000 of your money and I'll fix that. If that's what you want me to do, I'll do that. If she was already going to do it anyway, I mean, there's a way around it.
Uh-huh.
There is a way around it, and I can get with you on how it is. But I mean, in theory, do not give USAA a copy of your inspection report. Do not give your insurance agent the inspection report.
USAA likes to ask.
They're gonna ask for it.
USAA
By law, you do
especially
not
likes
have to
ask
provide
for it.
it. I mean, so it will come, unless the house is perfect.
Yeah.
They wanna lend money on perfect houses. They wanna insure perfect houses. And when they're not perfect, you're telling them, raise my rate. That's what you wanna pay higher interest rates? Give them all that stuff that you want over there, and they're gonna charge you 10,000 versus 4. You were gonna fix it anyway, that's why you got the 50,000. So I mean, they think of it this way. How many people have they insured right here in the Heights who have the same condition of the insulation? They just don't know about it, right? And after they insure it and the rate is up, it doesn't mean insulation won't drop tomorrow. It's not a condition of insurability. It's just one of those things, they're risk averse, they're in the risk business. So they want to transfer the risk to you or charge you more for it. So I would never give them that information.
And you should
Do what?
It's a VA loan.
Well, this is not a VA loan.
It's not
I mean,
a VA.
yes, they will send an inspector, they will inspect those things themselves. So that,
But
the VA loans are
to answer
definitely
Cynthia's
complicated.
questions, I did a VA loan over on Oxford, and my buyer, I counseled them, they're also savvy enough when USAA was asking them for copies of various different things. They said, if you tell me specifically what it is you're trying to determine, I can answer any questions you have about that. And that was how we were able to get through that process.
The normal insurance person gets a house insured and they come out in 30 days and they take a look at it. If it's generally insurable, well then it's fine. And that's a personable, reasonable thing. Most people don't let insurance people into their houses. Most people don't let them crawl under their houses. Most people don't let them crawl in their attic. I mean, what is the norm over here? And if someone's trying to do that, you might look at a different insurance company. Because they're looking for a reason not to insure you. Or to raise your rate.
They wouldn't find out that it was a knob and tube wiring.
Could they find out?
I mean, would they have?
Sure they probably would.
But
They would
wouldn't it
make
be
it
better to
insurable.
let them know before, so that before you.
Are you replacing it or not?
Yes, now, maybe.
Yes, yes. No, the answer is yes. You don't want to insure a house, tell them there's no knob and tube, it catches on fire with knob and tube, and now they find a reason not to give you the insurance claim. Why would you want even insurance? Just don't get insurance. I mean, so yeah, I mean, but if you're going to replace it, it would save your person money to go get the work done and provide the permit, you know,
Yeah.
work it that way. I don't need a sequel to the insurance company.
Yeah.
I just want to say, here's the norm. We do not speed down Heights Boulevard and yell at every cop that we're speeding, right? We don't do that. But we probably all go over the speed limit a little bit from time to time, and it's probably reasonable that we do so. And when you see the policeman over there, you slow down a little bit. It's the same basic concept with insurance. I just don't want, I mean, I don't want to be deceitful or unethical in any way, but I don't want to give the insurance company a reason to raise the rate of your insurance. But clearly, about the property again, want to be clear, as long as you use this form, you have 0 days or 1 day, it wouldn't make any difference. The property doesn't appraise, you're renegotiating over there. And either party can kind of do whatever. If the seller is just not going to come down, then terminate and get the earnest money to buy it and move on down the road. Any questions about this? I am happy to circle the same thing and send it to the agent, copy their broker, and let everyone know exactly how stupid and uneducated they are. Happy to do it. I do it on a regular basis. The broker surely should understand it. Not everyone does. What part of this is not that understandable? It's really not that difficult.
I will let you know, she said she did go over it and we're good.
Yeah, I knew that. Yeah, I knew that you were. Now, back to Becky and the lender. If the lender wants the appraisal as a condition of buyer approval, if that's their policy, nothing I can do about it, but you would want to know that early on in the deal, because if there were multiple offers, then you would certainly want to know that. Are you under contract with Page Martin on something?
She agreed. She agreed to 10 days on that, that says she might need some flexibility.
Okay. Have you had inspections yet?
Wednesday.
That'll be fine. We'll talk offline about that.
Why do some agents that, buyer can change lenders on?
I have absolutely no reason.
In their time, lender.
You know, provided that they, you know, in their 10 days or 12 days or 15 days, they can do whatever they want. And again, I mean, you change lenders, it just means now you're at risk. You can't, the buyer is subject to losing their earnest money if the buyer does something after those days.
That's the case about.
That's right. To me, it makes it, it's just like saying Houston, Texas, 77009, USA. You can put USA or not. I think we all know we're in USA. They're just putting USA on their letter. Doesn't, okay, great. Doesn't matter. Property may
Why do some of the larger firms teach you to do that?
They're representing the firm. I will just be perfectly honest. They are only trying to protect Greenwood King. When Greenwood King says, I must put an NA there, the Trek is not telling me that. The court system isn't telling me that. The lender's not telling me that. Greenwood King is doing that. Greenwood King cannot make my buyer or seller initial something because Greenwood King wants it. They can advise their client to not take an offer if we won't initial that, but that is clearly between the buyer and the seller. So I don't care about Greenwood King. My buyer and my seller don't care about Greenwood King. Only care about selling the house. So that's why they are trying to protect their firm. I'm trying to protect my firm, but my seller with the buyer's walkthrough. We get into this, they don't want, and I understand totally, Greenwood King's client doesn't reap any benefit by signing the buyer's walkthrough at closing. The broker, and as the person representing the seller, I want to know, is the buyer signing under duress? Is the buyer have some expectation that the seller's still going to do something? Are they going to sue us later because they didn't get the keys or the clickers or the mailbox code or whatever? I want to know beforehand. And that form lets me know they're satisfied or not. And if they're not satisfied, I want to know. So when I visit with people, I'm not going to sign the buyer's walkthrough. Great, the seller's not going to sell you this house unless they know you're 100% satisfied with the terms, and because I can demand that you tell me if you have an issue or not, as contingent upon selling the house to you. I am not going to go sell a house. I'm not going to let my seller sell a house knowing the buyer is going to go sue them. I'd rather deal with it right before closing than I would after closing, and it's a fair question to ask. So, okay, third-party financing addendum. We got it. How much time have we got? We got
3 minutes.
All right, we were going to do contingencies and backup offers, but there are 4 forms and it can get very complicated. I think we would need 30 minutes to go over this, and I don't know that we really want to go over this today. So we will pick back up with backup offers, with backup addendum, with contingencies, notices of contingencies, and all that next time that we meet. I'll just move that one to there because I just think it gets very complicated. But we will do that later. Is there another brief question that we might have at the moment? Go vote. 10 more days. Nothing else?
Early voting ends on Friday, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Can you mention the happy hour? If anybody wants to
Yeah.
invite
You mentioned that
anybody?
now.
Well, this Thursday, happy hour at Joysticks. It's actually my brother's place. He's opening it up to us so we can bring clients or friends or guests and come over there. We're gonna have pizza from Frank's, and there's a cash bar, but there'll be sodas and waters, and
It's arcade videos like we used to
it's
play.
a classic
Pac-Man.
art. They actually sell the games, but they're opening it for free play. So there's pinball machines and video games, and it's a big showroom. It's called Joysticks Arcade and Pinballs. It's right across from Minute Maid Stadium, and there's free parking across the street. And it's just
Kid friendly.
Yeah, it's kind of kid friendly, but there is a bar there, so I'm not advocating.
My
you
kids
bring your
grew up in a
kids.
bar.
Yeah, try to be respectful, but if there's children there, we're like, But also, the arcade area, yeah, well, the arcade area is separate from the bar, and we're gonna have tags, so bar people that aren't a part of our party, the bar people. So it's a nice networking time and a good way to bring people in. It's from the,
Right.
you know, a little way that if we need to.
Perfect, okay.
So, yes.
Okay, that's all I got, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Let's say that.